You might be surprised to learn that the war in Ukraine could soon involve soldiers from North Korea.
North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea. It
Wow.
sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Wow.
Some recent news reports from the Associated Press indicate that Russia might be looking to North Korea for some military support, in their war in Ukraine. And it's creating quite a stir.
Yeah. For
We're talking potentially thousands of troops.
thousands.
Yeah. So this isn't just another headline. This has the potential to reshape the global landscape in a big way.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to unpack all of this, why North Korea might jump into this conflict, what it means for major players like the U.S. and their allies in the region, and the potential fallout for the war in Ukraine and the world.
Well, this is fascinating and pretty alarming, too, when you think about it. I mean, Ukrainian President Zelensky has suggested these North Korean troops could be deployed like as early as this weekend.
This week.
Yeah, which is an incredibly rapid turnaround. It suggests a level of preparedness that we haven't seen before.
That's lightning fast. What makes you think they'd be ready to move so quickly?
Well, reports indicate that over 3,000 North Korean troops might already be in Russia, possibly undergoing training and being outfitted with Russian equipment. This suggests that the groundwork for this potential deployment has been laid, well in advance. And it's certainly causing concern among Western officials.
I can understand why adding thousands of troops to an already volatile situation is a big deal.
Absolutely.
What kind of official responses have we seen to this news?
Well, the U.S., Japan, and South Korea have been quick to react. Their top national security advisors recently held a meeting and expressed what they called grave concern about these deployments.
Grave concern.
Yeah, they're worried about the potential use of North Korean troops in the war and are explicitly calling for both Russia and North Korea to halt these actions.
Their strong reaction suggests this development is deeply troubling. What specifically are they worried about?
Well, one of their main concerns is the potential expansion of the conflict's security implications, beyond Europe and into the Indo-Pacific region. This region, which includes countries like China, Japan, and the Koreas, is already a geopolitical hotspot, and North Korea's involvement could further destabilize the area.
So it's not just about Ukraine anymore.
Exactly.
It feels like we're on the verge of a much bigger conflict here. But what would motivate North Korea to get involved in a war so far from home? What's in it for them?
Well, it's a complex calculation, but there are several potential benefits for North Korea. First, they might be seeking financial aid from Russia, which is facing its own economic challenges due to sanctions. Second, they could be after access to advanced Russian military technology, which would boost their own military capabilities. And third, there's the potential for political support on the international stage. Russia could offer diplomatic cover for North Korea's actions, helping them withstand international pressure.
A sort of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation, but with global implications. Are there any historical precedents for this kind of cooperation between North Korea and Russia?
Well, historically, North Korea has maintained a close relationship with Russia dating back to the Cold War. During the Korean War, for example, the Soviet Union provided significant military and economic assistance to North Korea. This relationship has ebbed and flowed over the decades, but it's never entirely disappeared. And now, with both countries facing increasing isolation from the West, they seem to be finding common ground once again.
So this isn't entirely out of character for them, but it's still a risky move, right?
Yeah.
What are the potential downsides for North Korea?
Absolutely. There are significant risks involved. First and foremost, they face potential international condemnation, which could further isolate them diplomatically. They also risk facing even harsher sanctions, which could cripple their already struggling economy. I mean, the types of sanctions they could face go beyond the existing ones, potentially targeting their limited access to international banking systems and further restricting their trade. For a country that already struggles to feed its own people, this could be disastrous. They're essentially gambling that the potential benefits outweigh these risks.
It's a high-stakes gamble indeed. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the potential impact on the war itself. How could North Korean troops on the ground actually change the course of the conflict?
That's the million-dollar question. If thousands of North Korean troops are indeed deployed, it could have a significant impact on the battlefield, at least in the short term. While North Korean troops are not generally considered to be as well-equipped or trained as their Western counterparts, they are known for their discipline and willingness to engage in intense combat. Adding thousands of fresh troops could provide much-needed manpower for Russia, potentially allowing them to launch new offensives or hold existing lines more effectively.
So it's not just symbolic. They could actually be a real fighting force. But what does that mean for the overall balance of power? What does that even mean?
Well, in practical terms, shifting the balance of power could mean Russia gaining the upper hand in certain regions or battles, potentially capturing more territory or inflicting heavier casualties on Ukrainian forces. It also means that the already devastating human cost of the war could increase significantly. This is a major concern for Western countries as it could prolong the conflict and make a negotiated settlement even more difficult to achieve.
And beyond the immediate battlefield, what are the broader geopolitical consequences? This move has the potential to create a ripple effect across the globe.
It certainly does. We could see a chain reaction of responses from other countries and international organizations. China, for instance, has walked a delicate line throughout this conflict, trying to maintain its relationship with Russia without alienating the West entirely. North Korea's involvement could force China to take a more definitive stance, potentially pushing them closer to Russia. Similarly, NATO could increase its military support to Ukraine or bolster its presence in Eastern Europe to deter further Russian aggression. The UN Security Council, often paralyzed by vetoes from Russia and China, might also face renewed pressure to act decisively.
So to sum things up, North Korean troops in Ukraine could significantly alter the course of the war and trigger a cascade of consequences that could reshape the global landscape. It's a stark reminder that this conflict is not confined to one region, and its impacts are far-reaching.
Absolutely. And as this situation unfolds, it raises a critical question for all of us. With the conflict in Ukraine pulling more and more nations into its orbit, what does this mean for the future of global stability?
It's a question worth pondering. This deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
For sure.
Well, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.